concrete walls. There's a place for us where we could go, where we could be alone. Between city lights, we don't have to hide. I wanna go, do you wanna follow? There's something in the air, I can't explain it, but it's there. Ain't nobody gonna find us in our secret love affair. I don't wanna have to hide no more, it shouldn't be unfair. I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? I can't understand why we can't hold hands, but they don't know what we have is real love. Aren't you sick and tired of having to hide? I know a place, do you wanna follow? There's something in the air, I can't explain it, but it's there. Ain't nobody gonna find us in our secret love affair. I don't wanna have to hide no more, it shouldn't be unfair. I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the live stream. Ooh, I'm resisting doing that thing that streamers and podcasters do, where they get so used to their own intro that they start saying it so fast that it becomes incomprehensible. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the live stream. There's a podcaster I listen to, and they start their podcast the same way every time. And first of all, I mean, far be it from me to criticize. I love their content. I don't want to sound like a hater, but you know, you could shift it up, right? You could just mix it up. But what really bugs me, I know what they're saying because I've been listening to their podcast long enough that I figured it out. But sometimes I listen to it, and I realize that if this was the first time you'd heard their podcast, it would be incomprehensible nonsense. So I'll try to resist that. I'll try to resist that temptation. That's not a temptation. It's just a thing that kind of happens as you get familiar with your own nonsense. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the live stream. It's good to be here with you on a Monday evening. Good. I had a great day. You know what? I started yesterday, Sunday's live stream, on a little bit of a sour note. I think I was in a bad mood, in part because OBS was being shitty to me. It's being okay now. That's good. We're not gonna take it for granted, but today I had a really good day. The weather was amazing. Just beautiful weather. Winter is mostly over where I am. We're going to have another couple cold weeks. We'll definitely have at least one more frost, maybe 2 frosts. Probably not a hard freeze. But today was just a perfect day. I got a lot of flying in today, and that's always good. I was flying a really fun little quadcopter. Hang on, let's see if I can share with you. Maybe I'll share a flight with you before we start taking questions. Let's see here. Let's see here. It was the HDLRC Recon 4. Actually, it's not the HDLRC. It's the Recon. Technically, it's not HDLRC who makes that. This is the, let's see, Recon 4 review, footage, flights, DVR. Oh, I want the GoPro. I think well, no. I think actually this is going to be the best. Hold on. No. Wait, it's the second one before that. Okay. Well, 3 minutes. Okay, this is 3 minutes and 57 seconds. We're probably not going to watch this whole thing. So, let's see here. Oh, that's too loud. Hold on, let me fix that. How do I fix that? Let me turn the volume down. Just mute it. You don't need to hear the... why is it not muted? How about that? Bad things will happen. Turn right sometimes, Bardwell. Let me just mute this. Hello. There we go. I was having so much fun. This thing is really fun to fly. So I'm just getting kooky there. I don't even know what I'm doing here. I'm literally just getting kooky. I had so much fun flying this thing. Wee. Little 4-inch. It's not the long-range version. It's the FR Freestyle version, which is very similar to the long-range version, just a little punchier motors, higher kV motors. I think it's got a weaker video transmitter, too. There is something really fun about flying a little 4-inch quadcopter with no GoPro. I don't know what it is. It just, that extra tiny little change in weight and size means that it feels more like a micro. It feels like the stakes are lower. I'm just getting kooky here. I'm not even trying to be good. I'm just having a great time. And since the GoPro's off, you're not scared of crashing as much as you are when you're running a GoPro. And doing a little racy stuff here. Kind of semi-racing through the trees. Just having such fun. Hang on. Then I did thought about chasing my neighbor, but decided that was probably irresponsible, so I didn't. And, whee! Oh, look at that! Look at that! This is a little freestyle-y stuff. Right? Come on. Whee! So, after I did this, I took it out to the yard and I decided to do a durability test, by which I mean I did freestyle tricks that I'm bad at and crashed it until I broke it. And I did break it. I did end up breaking it. Whee! Just do some backflips. Why not? Where am I anyway? Got like 6, 7, 9 minutes of flight off a single 850 milliamp hour battery too. I'll show you how this flight ended. I came over to the backyard and I said, oh, almost hit that. I came over to the back patio and I started doing some power loops here. Wee, little power loop. Flies pretty good. And then I decided to do a power loop with a backflip. Okay. Oh, yeah, all right. That counts. And then I decided to go over the house and see if I could do a power loop back like over the whole house and back into it. And I crashed. Oh. I'll tell you what. I don't know why I don't... Joey W. says this is how I fly all the time. I don't know why I don't fly like that all the time. Something about having a little 4-inch with no GoPro on it, and I just go... Just cut loose. Anyway. The drone I was flying there is the Recon 4FR. I'll tell you, I'll tell you. Hang on. Let's see if I can. I'm gonna show you some pictures, but I have to scroll through my photo reel, and I'm not going to show you all of my photo reel. I'll show you. What I'm looking for in my photo reel is. What I'm looking for in my photo reel is, how long ago was this? I did a, yes. So I did a class, it was a private class. I got hired. Hang on. I got hired to do this class by a company for some people that they wanted trained. And they bought a bunch of these Recon 4 FRs for the class. And so I got to, for about a week, the students flew these. And I thought after, I made a pile of all of the carnage. So these are the dead ones after a week. But overall, I was actually really impressed with how they held up. And I thought, well, shoot, I spent a week beating the shit out of 12 of these quads. Like, this could be the most well-informed review I've ever done. And so I bought one and decided to review it. And that's what I'm working on right now. So, anyway, that's what my day's been like. Was there anything else in my photo reel that you need to see? Want to see a cute picture of my kid? Oh, come on. You want to see a video?
Shooters ready. Stand by.
Of me and Mr. Steele having a shootout with each other? I think that's the one where my gun was malfunctioning constantly. No? What? Yeah. Oh, all kinds of things you could see in my photo reel. Ah, well. That's not what we're here for, though. We're here to answer your questions. That's what we're here for. Not for me to just chat at you. We're here to answer your questions. By the way, I did have a shootout with Mr. Steele. And on the one where the gun, I was a borrowed gun. It wasn't my gun. One of the guns was malfunctioning constantly. Like every other round, it was jamming. There's something wrong with it or something wrong with me. On the one where my gun wasn't malfunctioning, I did win, but I had a red dot and he was shooting iron sights. So it wasn't really fair. The red dot is a huge advantage. So I was like, Steele, get a red dot so we can have a fair fight. And he was like, I want to shoot my gun. I want to shoot iron sights because he's like a purist. And I was like, yeah, but then I can't take any pride if I win. And if I lose, then I'm a real chump. I did win, but it's not really a fair fight. I'm sorry. Anyway, so we still don't know who would win, me or Steele in that. But it was fun as hell. But that's not what we're here for. Voodoo Survival. I could have been limp wristing. It's possible. I don't think I was limp wristing. I will say that the guy whose gun it was shot it and it seldom malfunctioned. So it could have been my technique. But I shot lots of other guns that day and they didn't jam. So this gun may have been particularly sensitive to limp wristing. It may be. I just want to say, in general, I don't limp wrist guns. It was only this one gun. There was something about the slide or something. Anyway. But that's not what we're here for. We're here to answer your questions. I'm going to be taking your questions. I think it's Recon Open Sky. I got to say Recon, not Recon. I'm going to be taking your questions here in the chat. I'm going to be taking questions from these beautiful people over in the Discord who are my patrons. So I better pay attention to them. And I will. And I will be answering your questions here in the super chats. Of course, if you want to hit the $ down here, send me a super chat. I will read those a little later in the stream. Let me just queue up these super chats that have come in real quick. Cloudy. Yep. All right. The watch I'm wearing is a Whoop. It is a Whoop band. It's a fitness band, and it has the battery charger on it, which is why it looks like something weird. It's nothing fancy, though, or special. It's just the battery is dead, so I don't know why I've got it plugged in. There you go. Oh, now I'm self-conscious about it. Okay. Let's take questions. By the way, apparently Steele is shooting now. I hope I didn't, spill the beans or something. Of all the hobbies that guy has, apparently now he's into shooting too. The gun was a SIG. I don't remember which. It wasn't my gun. It was a fella I was with who was like, hey, do you guys want to go shooting? And I was like, yeah. If somebody offers you to go shooting and says you don't have to buy your own ammo, why not? SIGs are nice guns. Oh, shut up, Danzilla the Terrible. Steele's a gun guy now? Unsubscribed. I mean, if Steele's a gun guy, then I'm a gun guy. So I hope you won't unsubscribe. That's up to you, though. I was standing right next to him shooting. Why would you unsubscribe to him and not me? Rat-a-tat-tat. Let's take a question from you, my friend. How better to start off than with a question from a patron over on the Discord server. Will we be able to update our old JB frames to the new 03? I'm going to leak something. So first of all, I am mildly embarrassed that it's taken this gosh dang long to get the 03 update for the JB QAVS out. There were many frames that had an 03, I shouldn't say many. There were at least a few frames that had an updated version of the frame ready to go at launch for the 03, and the JB QAVS was not one of them. And that is what it is. But now it's been, 4 months. I can show you. I'm going to leak this. This is a leak. I'm going to show you what's coming. And I hope that I hope that GetFPV isn't mad at me for leaking this, but whatever. So here's what's coming. This is the updated QAVS that supports the 03. So here's an exploded view. By the way, this is not final. It's close to final. But if you see something different in the released version, don't be mad at me for leaking it wrong. The front end is metal. It's a little hard to tell because they've made the whole damn thing purple. This is not all one piece. I don't actually want to show this whole conversation, actually. Hold on. Let me just get you a picture. So it's a little hard to tell because it's been rendered all in purple, but I'm pretty sure that this side piece here is a separate carbon fiber piece. So, wait. See, this is the problem with leaking stuff. I give you bad information. I've seen several versions of this. Yeah. I see that in this picture it looks like it's a one molded piece. I don't think that's how it's going to be. But this is coming. It will support the 03 air unit and the 03 camera, and it will also be easier to mount other types of camera. Also, I have no idea what's going on here with this thing. I don't know what, I'm not sure about that. Like I said, this is a preliminary render, is not final, but I want to give you guys a look at what the front end is going to look like and let you know that we are working on it. That is the wrong scene. There we go. So, now when will that be available? I don't know. but I want to let you know we are working on it. Okay. Joey W. Joey W. has a quick question about the Reckon 4. He says, mine came with an XT30. Should I upgrade it to an XT60? No. Joey, you may have noticed in my photos from the class that all those had XT60s on them. The reason for that is that the guy who was putting on the class bought a bunch of batteries with XT60s and didn't realize that the Recon came with XT30. And so the very first thing we did before the class began was we swapped out all the XT30s for XT60s so he could use the batteries that he purchased. But the XT30 is fine. Dark Sheep wants to know. We're just getting a ton of questions in the Patreon, in the Discord today. That's fine. Dark Sheep wants to know, I just got a Boxer radio, and I want to know how long I can leave the charged LiPo in the radio without it being dangerous. That's a very common question because a lot of people put a lot of work into managing their LiPos, and so then you just stick a LiPo in the back of your radio, charge it, and leave it there, and it feels very wrong. Here's the thing. It is not dangerous to leave a LiPo at full charge. If the LiPo is damaged, like you've crashed it and damaged it, then it being at full charge makes it a little bit more likely that it may go off. But if the LiPo has been sitting in the back of your radio and never been bashed or broken or damaged, there's no danger in leaving it fully charged. It's probably just going to sit there till the end of time. Leaving a LiPo fully charged does reduce its performance. It builds up internal resistance and it reduces its capacity. But here's the thing. Here's why that doesn't matter for your transmitter. It doesn't matter because it's not a high discharge. You're not pulling 60 amps from that battery. You're pulling, I don't know what you're pulling. It's not very much. And so even though the battery's internal resistance will go up over its life because you charge the controller and then you just leave it in there, you don't put your controller into storage voltage. Don't do that. It's not worth it. The battery's internal resistance will go up. You will experience additional voltage sag, but the effect will be minimal because you're not pulling a lot of amps. And so in a low amp discharge application, the internal resistance of the battery is less significant. So just don't worry about it is the takeaway. Just don't worry about it. Put the LiPo in the back of your radio, charge it up to full when it gets low, and don't bother putting it in storage mode. Don't over discharge it. Obviously, that's bad. But don't worry about storage mode or any of that nonsense. It's going to last for years. And eventually, you'll be like, oh, I can notice it's not lasting as long as it did. And then you get a new one. So who cares? KY Savage asks if the new front end will be carried over to the 3-inch. I don't know the answer to that, KY Savage. I really actually have no idea whether they're going to redo the 3-inch in the same way. Okay. Let me take a couple of questions from the regular chat. And then I'll do the super chats. I always like to take some questions from the regular chat. It's Recon. I'm sure it's Recon, but I always end up saying Recon. I don't know why. Big Mike's Hobby Channel asks, as someone with a massive IPD of 74, wow, Big Mike, you got them wide set eyes, my friend. You got them wide set eyes. I'm looking to get into an HC0 system. Is it worth it to try to get angled lens inserts? Or did I just say screw it and get something like the Emax Transporty? Mike, I couldn't say whether angled lens inserts would work for you. I really have no idea. I'm not even sure what that is. I mean, I understand the words you're saying. Is that something that exists, or is that something that you made up? With an IPD that wide, I sure would hesitate to spend $600 on those goggles unless I knew for sure they were going to work for me. I think you're just stuck with box goggles, dude. I don't know what to tell you. That is I mean, theoretically, like, you could try to download the CAD files for the case of the goggles, and maybe there's a way you could modify them to widen the IPD. I don't know if that's even possible. But that sucks, dude. That does. That's the bottom line. Big Mike says, I've used the lenses on the Oculus Quest. Yeah, but, like, how would you adapt them to work on the HD0 goggles? Right? TKO FPV has a great question. How do you dispose of old LiPo batteries? I don't know if Best Buy takes them. I think I remember, like, Home Depot used to take them. I'm pretty sure that if you take them to a Batteries Plus, they'll accept them. There's various places you can turn in old LiPo batteries for recycling. I'm told by people who seem to know what they're talking about, that it's not the worst thing in the world to throw LiPo batteries away. Now, obviously, it's better to recycle them because those minerals and whatever can be reused in a lot of cases. But, like, if you throw out lead batteries, it's really bad, to the point where lead batteries actually have what they call it a core charge. And when you turn the old battery in, when you get a new battery, you get your money back. They charge you like an extra $12 or something when you buy the lead battery. And then when you buy a new one, you turn the old one in, and they give you your $12 back. So they're literally paying you to turn the old batteries in because they don't want that lead going into a landfill and seeping into the environment and poisoning the baby fishes or whatever. For lithium batteries, there are no dangerous chemicals in them, I'm told. And so it's wasteful to throw them out, but it is not like an environmental disaster. So if you find yourself in a situation where you need to dispose of a battery and you don't have a better way to do it, make sure you fully discharge it so that it doesn't light on fire. And then it's okay to just throw them out. But there are various ways you can recycle them as well. Let's take some super chats. What's up, FPV? Thank you for a $5 super chat. I have a Hi-Fi on RC all-in-one. The unit worked great in one build. I changed the frame, cocked the flight controller 45 degrees, and it's now doing inverted yaw spin and freaks out and disarms. Only when you do inverted yaw spins. Only when you do inverted yaw spins. Man. Boy, oh boy. Do you have any footage of it? What's up? I don't know. Like, if you're getting death rolls when you do it. So first of all, it can't matter that you're inverted, right? I mean, if you were right side up and you went to zero throttle and did a yaw spin, the same thing has to happen, right? 661 FPV says, does it freak out or disarm? Can't do both. Yeah, it could freak out and then go into runaway and disarm. I mean, is it a desync? Is it an RX loss? This is where my mind goes. What's up says he's going to email it to me. By the way, Mike Bergman, thanks you guys. Thanks, moderators. Apparently, there's a spammer in the chat. So thank you guys for keeping an eye out on that. What's up? If you email me, jb@joshuabardwell.com, I will keep an eye out. Huh. going on there? What are you showing me? I guess I'll keep an eye out for the email. All right, I'm going to keep an eye out for the email, and we'll see what happens. In the meantime, I'm going to go on to the next super chat. Yeah, I feel like we need to see it. Next super chat. Thank you, Cloudy Media, for a $7 Canadian dollars super chat. Just stripped a motor mount on a new build. Is there a way of fixing it, or do I need to replace it? The frame only accepts 3 screws. Like, in theory, you could... So the motor mount is aluminum, so it's a very soft metal. You have to be careful not to strip it. Fair enough? In theory, you could tap it. You could tap it out and then put new threads in. That is a thing that exists. I would probably just run it with 2 screws, make sure to use Loctite, and cross my fingers. I mean, if you are a machinist and you have the means to tap it out and put new threads in, then yeah, go for it. But probably most people aren't going to be able to do that. Just use 2 screws, Loctite them, and don't strip them out. 2 screws is okay. Quack. Thank you for a $3 super chat. Oh, sorry, Toilet Duck. Thank you for a $3 super chat. Quack. Fair enough. Quack back at you, sir. Hugh Bradburn, thank you for a $10 super chat. I got my blowout TBS TX16 today because I watched the stream. Yeah, TBS. Are they still doing it? They still have them, or did they sell out? TBS had Radiomaster TX16S Mark 1, the Mark 1 version. They were blowing them out for like $65. That's a hell of a price for a TX16S. And Jean Miranda, thank you for a $10 super chat. I appreciate all you do for the community. Just got a Nazgul and I'm addicted, coming from Nevada. Hell yeah. Does anyone know if there's any regulations for flying with lipos here in the United States? So yes, I have a video about it, but the short version is that the lipos individually need to be below 100 watt hours, which that's pretty much all FPV hobby lipos are less than that. I mean, unless you're flying for like a great big Cinelifter. For perspective, a 5S 5,000 milliamp hour is right at 100 watt hours. So anything smaller than that, like a 6S 1100 is like 22, 23 watt hours. It's nothing. So each individual battery has to be less than 100 watt hours. There is no limit on the number of batteries you can carry. You need to carry them onto the plane with you. Don't put them in your checked bag. If there's a fire, they want the fire to be in the cabin. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but they want the fire somewhere where they can manage it. Other than that, that's pretty much it. I personally travel with the lipos in a separate bag so that I can take the bag out and run it through separately, because they always want to swab the bag and check it for explosives or whatever. But it's not an issue. Now, as long as you're traveling domestic within the U.S., that's the rule. If you travel internationally, it's a total crapshoot. I've heard more than one story of someone leaving the United States with lipos and then perhaps getting stopped at the border on the way into the other country, or actually more likely, you come into the other country and no one cares, but when you're boarding the plane to leave the country, then they go, oh, no, you can't bring those lipos. So be careful if you're traveling internationally, but traveling domestically, it's no big deal, as long as you follow those guidelines. Still waiting for an email from WhatsApp. Donnie Rocket, thank you for a $20 super chat. I don't see any message from Donnie. Let me see if there's a question. I don't see a question from Donnie Rocket, but thank you for the $20 super chat, Donnie Rocket. We got another super chat from Fake Louisiana. I don't know what fake Louisiana is. DJI FPV, I can't record video. I have both SD cards in. Do you mean the DJI FPV drone? Or do you mean the DJI FPV air unit? That's my first question. Fake Louisiana. I don't know when fake Louisiana is going to answer that question. Yes, the DJI FPV drone, I assume you mean. I hate to disrespect your $20 super chat, but I don't have a ton of experience with the FPV drone. If you put both SD cards in and you format them and then hit record, what happens? What does it do when you hit record? What does it do, fake Louisiana? What is the origin of your name, fake Louisiana? Are you hitting record? AJSR71 says maybe he's not pushing record in the goggles. I can't get pictures, no video. What do you mean? Like when you hit record, what happens? I can't get pictures, no video. Oh, Rayoni Barrios, does the drone have a photo mode and he's in photo mode, not video mode? Could that be it? Everybody in the chat is very eager to help. See, that's the great thing about my community. Still no email from WhatsApp. WhatsApp, I haven't forgotten you, man. I want to see your drone disarm. JB@joshuabardwell.com. Night Owl says there's a thread on this issue. Oh, once again, the chat coming to the rescue. DJI FPV drone and goggles won't record video. My Samsung card will not work for recording at all. The Samsung card formatted but would not record. They do not come ready to record out of the box. What do you mean they don't come ready to record out of the box? I mean, I had one. I had to press and hold the red record button to toggle the video mode on, which will now start automatically. You mean it comes in photo mode? Okay, maybe this is your problem, fake Louisiana. You have to press and hold the record button on the goggles to toggle the video mode on. Video mode is now permanently on. What mode is it in? What mode is it in when you receive it? Oh, is this a new firmware problem? Wow. All right. Well, let's wonder if that's the problem, fake Louisiana. Press and hold the record button to switch it to video mode. Let's see if that's the answer. Wouldn't that be nice? Okay. Maybe that's the answer. I'm still not 100% sure what the exact nature of the failure is. Oh. Phonic, thank you for a $5 super chat. Just saying thanks for being consistent with the information flow. Thank you, Phonic, for the donation. Quad City Bay Area asks, are the Radio Master micro modules sold out or recalled? No clue, dude. I don't think they've been recalled, so... Oh, there was a problem, wasn't there? There was the problem with the micro module where if you plug in the XT30, it could potentially fry your radio. Did they recall them? I don't know. That's a good... Excuse me. That's a good question. I'm going to ask my contact at Radio Master. I'm going to have to ask my contact at Radio Master for an update on that. Yeah, it's a good reminder there. Steve Tricks. Wow. Fishy says, have you noticed or heard of any durability complaints about the O3 camera? I've knocked my second one out of focus. Need to move on to my third. The major durability issue I'm aware of with the O3 camera is that the lens seems super easy to scratch. I've heard reports from the specific person I'm thinking of right now is Sean, Let's Fly RC from Rotor Riot. But I've heard from other people that the lens is, if you fly somewhere where it's sandy or rocky, it's super easy to scratch the lens. Other than that, I haven't heard an issue. Steve Tricks says that a Possum FPV had an issue where the screws on the side of the camera were getting hot and caused the camera to smoke. That's not the camera that's an issue, dude. That is, you have VBAT being touching the frame somewhere else. You've got a frayed wire or a cut piece of insulation, and VBAT is getting onto the frame, and then the screws are grounded and acting as a path to ground. That's not a defect in the camera. I'm like 99% sure that's an issue somewhere else. So, alrighty. Oh. Fake Louisiana says that it also says slow SD card. That would mean you need a different SD card, a faster SD card. The DJI Air unit has a bug where it says SD card slow. Ignore that. But you're talking about the DJI FPV drone, I'm pretty sure. Fishy wants to know if a throttle limit... Oh, excuse me. I have a drinking problem. Old joke. Fishy. Fishy. Where are you, Fishy? Why is searching for Fishy not working? Oh, great. Now I'm sending message. Damn it. That's lame. That's not what I meant to do. I was in the wrong dialog box. Fishy. Fishy wants to know, will a throttle limit impact motor response? I don't see why it would. All a throttle limit does is scale down the output to the motors by a certain percent. So instead of asking for 100%, it asks for 80%. Instead of asking for 50%, it asks for 40%. I don't see why that would affect the motor response. Except that a motor will have a different amount of torque at different places in its RPM curve. So if you imagine a motor that is natively, let's say, 1600 kV, and you imagine a 1900 kV motor that is being scaled down to 1600 kV, the 1900 kV motor will be in the bottom, whatever the ratio is, the bottom 2/3 or so, the bottom 75% of its torque curve. Whereas the 1600 kV motor will be using the full width of its torque curve. Let's look at actual torque curves
this
of a motor. This is Chris Rosser, his YouTube channel, and dyno testing. So these are, is this torque versus RPM? I believe it is. So these are the actual torque curves of real motors, with RPM on the x-axis and torque on the y-axis. And you can see that they have a peak at about, let's eyeball that at, say, 25 to 40% throttle-ish. Here's maybe 50% throttle. And their torque goes down as they get closer and closer to full throttle. So by taking a higher kV motor and throttle limiting it, are we forcing it to spend more time in the high torque part of its torque curve? That seems counterintuitive. That seems counterintuitive. Huh. I don't know. That's weird. And I don't know. That's an interesting thought experiment. I'm going to ask Chris Rosser. And of course it's 2 in the morning in the UK, so he's not going to answer. But before I forget, I'm going to ask him. So you'll have to bear with me while I type that question on the chat. That's such an interesting question. Looking at your motor torque curve graph, it looks like most motors make peak torque around 25 to 40% throttle, roughly. Does this mean that if we took a high kV motor and scale and used a motor output scale to force it to stay in let's say this, to reduce its output to, let's say, 40%, then it would spend all its time in the highest torque part of its RPM curve and would be more responsive or something? Surely I'm missing something. I guess one thing I'm missing is that the higher kV motor would it would draw up more amps to make the same amount of torque. So it would be significantly less efficient. I don't know. That's a really interesting question. Fishy throttle limits the input to the PID controller. Motor output scales the output to the PID from the PID controller. Let's put it that way. Let's see if that email from Watts still haven't seen the email with that yaw spin where it disarms. That's a shame. Where do you email? Well, I'm sorry about that. I suspect there's a flaw in that logic. But Chris Rosser's going to tell me what it is. I got a super chat from Donnie Rocket for $20. Big super chat. Thank you so much. Oh, Watts said he's driving, so he can't send it. Understood, Watts. Well, I'll answer you off stream, Watts, but definitely email me when you get a chance. Don't email me while you're driving. It's not worth it. And then another $10 super chat from Donnie Rocket. Did you ever consider making a drone for photographers and trying something different from FPV? Nope. I love FPV. I am not that interested in camera drones. So, not really. I mean, that's the answer to your question. Thank you for your donations. But that's the actual answer to your question. My goodness. I got a question here. I saw a post on Facebook today from a guy whose quad spontaneously armed when he was picking it up to unplug the LiPo. He thought it was Betaflight, but some of the comments disagreed. What could cause such a thing? In my experience, when the motors spontaneously spin, it is usually the ESC's fault. It's just like, obviously you can't be 100% sure, right? I have heard of situations where a quad crashed during flight and didn't disarm. And in those situations, I think it's possible that the flight controller got damaged in such a way that it sort of froze up. I've seen flight controllers freeze up before. It's not common, but I have seen it happen. And so it's plausible to me that a flight controller could freeze up, continue sending the same output to the motors that it was sending. Now, there are people who are going to say, but if it froze up, wouldn't the output stop? Right. So I don't know. I think that's plausible. But when a quadcopter spontaneously arms and the motors spin for no reason, and especially if they just suddenly go to full throttle, which is a lot of times what people are experiencing when they report this problem, to me that feels like an ESC problem. If Betaflight were to somehow spontaneously arm, well, it would arm at zero throttle, because Betaflight will not arm if the throttle is not at zero. So there would have to be such a sequence of events. The flight controller would mistakenly have to think that you gave the command to arm, and would have to think that the throttle was then raised to full throttle, and then the motors would spin up and the quad would try to fly. That doesn't seem very plausible. On the other hand, for an ESC to suddenly go, oh, I should be at full throttle now? I know I've seen that happen. There was a bug in a pre-release version of BL Heli. I think it was, I don't remember which version it was. I'm not going to say. And it was pre-release anyway, and they fixed the bug. But there was an acknowledged bug once upon a time in the ESC firmware that caused the quad to just spontaneously go to full throttle every now and then. And some people got hurt because of it. But here's the thing. People report this as if it's a bug. As if it's a BL Heli bug. Or something. And I think that's a mistake. I spoke to Alexander Fedorov. And we both determined the cause of the accident had nothing to do with the flight controller. Well, I happen to agree that it probably wasn't the flight controller. But, yeah, naturally, that's what the designer of the flight controller is predestined, is predisposed to conclude. But he's probably right. But this is back in November 2022. And you can see that the developer, the BL Heli developer, released some test code with additional fixes. So maybe this is the bug that I was thinking of. Maybe this is the bug that I was thinking of. I remember there being a bug. Is this back when they were developing 32.9? I guess it might be. Yeah, this might be the bug. So there was a bug that was acknowledged and was fixed. In my opinion, when this happens, unless you're running pre-release test code, it probably is you have bad hardware. I've seen many cases. Many is too strong a word. I've seen more than one case where an ESC got wet and somehow that randomly caused the motors to spin. Or where you've just beat the shit out of an ESC and then suddenly it starts spinning the motors for no reason. I've personally experienced that. I've personally experienced a beat up ESC, and then one time it was sitting on the desk with the props off and the battery plugged in, and a motor went bzz, 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 and I went, "Oh no, you are fired!" And I immediately got rid of that ESC. It's fired. It's like a freaking hand grenade with the pin pulled, and you're just waiting for it to go off. So that's what I would say. It's probably not a bug in Betaflight or BL Heli. It's probably you have bad hardware, which is not what you want to hear. So, all right. Zippy. Thank you for a $5 super chat, Zippy. Posted a question in the Discord with a clip. Having video issues after a motor upgrade. Uh-oh. Well, Zippy, let's see if I can find you. Where are you at, Zippy? Zippy, post the question in Livestream chat. Post the question in Livestream chat. I can't find it. Are you Zippy on the Discord? Here we go. I got it. I found it. Zippy says, I upgraded my Mob 6 with the Express LRS from the 19,000 kV motors to 25,000 kV motors. The video is now unflyable. Well, no, it's not the antenna. It's electrical noise from the motors in the ESC ruining your camera. That just based on the fact that it happened after you updated the motors. Okay, so first of all, hang on. Jesus. Yeah, that's garbage, all right. What the frick? How are you flying at all? How are you flying at all? That's weird. That doesn't look like ESC noise at all. That doesn't look like ESC noise at all. What is that? It just doesn't look like it doesn't look like what it looks like when your ESC is making noise. Does it do it when you're disarmed? Does it do it when you're disarmed? Night Owl says there was a solder blob, but I'm guessing he's using motor plugs or soldered motors. That's really bad. No, see, look, when he disarms, it's still doing it. We can see in the video. This doesn't have anything to do with your motors. This doesn't have anything to do with your motors. The type of distortion is not consistent with what happens when you have electrical noise from the motors. And also, do you see that it's only happening in certain areas of the frame? Oh, God. So bad. Have you definitely... I don't know. This is such a weird kind of distortion. He says it gets progressively worse the more I fly. The fact that it does it even when you're disarmed, and the fact that you swapped the motors with plugs, so you never even touched the solder. Unplug the motors. Does it do it if you unplug the motors entirely? I mean, that would surely rule it out. The fact that your on-screen display is also experiencing breakup tells us that it's not the camera. Because the on-screen display is being drawn after the camera. It's a video transmitter issue for sure. Man alive, that's really bad. It's not low power from the VTX. This is a strong signal with some weird-ass kind of distortion. I can't remember when I've seen distortion exactly like this. Horizontal lines I've seen all the time. But this weird kind of vertical, like almost like contours. It's weird as shit. I don't think the motors are what did it, though. All right. I don't know if that's going to be helpful. I hope it's helpful. Unplug the motors. That would rule the motors out, right? Check that your antenna is not hitting the frame. It's a plastic frame, though. What would it matter if it was touching it? Man alive. Steve Tricks, I do not have a Pyrodrone affiliate link. Thank you for asking. I appreciate you thinking of me and trying to use my affiliates. Pyro, actually, I used to have one. Pyro decided not to do an affiliate program anymore. So I wish them the best. They're a great store. They have excellent customer service, fast shipping, and one of the widest varieties of stuff in the United States. I would say of all the major FPV retailers in the U.S., if you picked a random product in the FPV marketplace and asked me to pick one store, and if it was out of stock, you were going to chop off my pinky, you know? I would pick Pyrodrone as the one most likely to have some random ass thing in stock, or at least listed. Okay, in stock is going too far. Shit's always out of stock. But what I mean is they actually carry it, as opposed to you go to like Get FPV or Race Day Quads and they don't even have it listed, and they're like, sorry, we don't carry that. Pyro actually carries a huge amount of stuff. They're a good store, but I am not an affiliate of theirs because I was, but they ended their affiliate program. They didn't kick me out. They ended the whole thing. In fact, I think I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I think I was the last affiliate that they fired. I think they let me stay an affiliate longer than anyone else. And they were like, well, I don't know. Should we keep Bardwell? And then finally they're like, all right, screw the whole thing. So I'm disappointed. To be honest with you, I'm disappointed because I don't exclusively promote affiliated stores. That just doesn't seem like who I want to be as a person. If there's a good product and there's a store that has it in stock, you know, I'll promote it. But the nature of affiliate marketing is that I am incentivized to go out of my way to promote the stores that I have affiliates for because they pay me money. And then that's one of the ways that I support myself. So, you know, just coin toss given the chance. And like I said, Pyro oftentimes, and Pyro's a good store and has a lot of stock. And I was happy when I became a Pyro affiliate because if like I'm making the list of links below a video, okay? Like I just did a review for a product and I'm going to make the list of links down below the video. Those are mostly going to be affiliated links. And so, you know, I would do Get FPV and I would do Race Day Quads and then I wouldn't do Pyro because they weren't an affiliate. And I'm like, okay, that's how it is. And then when I became a Pyro affiliate, I was like, yes, they're a good store. I'm happy to be referring people to them. So I'm a little disappointed that I am less able to do that now than I was. But that's obviously they have to make a decision on whether they think that that money is money well spent. I think a lot of stores who have an affiliate program struggle with the question. This is a little bit sort of behind the scenes stuff, but what the hell? A lot of stores that have an affiliate program struggle with the question of, did this affiliate actually send me a sale that I wouldn't have gotten otherwise? Because if I send you a customer that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise, then you're happy to pay me. Well, the affiliate percentages typically go between about 3% and about 6%. You're happy to pay me that. Because, whatever. You've got, let's say, at the low end, you've got a 12% retail margin. And at the high end, you've got a 25%, maybe a little more than that, but probably not. It ranges. So you're getting a little bit. You got a new customer. Yay. But then that customer comes back to the store and they use my affiliate link. And now you just start to feel like you're paying me whatever, 5%, 3%. And it's like, Bardwell sent me this customer 6 months ago. Now they're just my customer. Why do I keep paying Bardwell for that affiliate referral? A store owner might wonder. And there's no way to tell. Like the affiliate program just says, if you click the link, then the affiliate gets a percent. And I think they count on the fact that regular customers won't keep clicking the affiliate link. They'll just go to the store, right? I think that my viewers are probably some of the most dedicated and supportive. And so I think my viewers are more likely than average to go out of their way to click the affiliate link. And so you might have a customer who's been a customer at Get FPV or Race Day Quads for 2 years, 3 years, die hard. And then one day they start watching my videos and they're like, oh, I'm going to start clicking Bardwell's affiliate links. And the store goes, why should I pay Bardwell for that? I already won that customer. And, on some level, you got to just figure out, you can't really know. And so I certainly don't begrudge Pyrodrone deciding that they don't want to spend that money on that style of marketing. But it's disappointing. It's disappointing because that means I make less money, which is always, obviously everybody likes to make more money. And it's disappointing because they're a good store, and I was happy to be more able to refer people to them, but that's life. I certainly don't want... Here's the thing, and then I'll get off this topic because I know it's gone on for a little bit. When I do my Patreon, I have almost no rewards for my Patreon tiers. And all of my Patreon tiers have the same rewards. They get access to the Discord. You get access to podcasts of my live streams. And then at the, I think it's at the $200 a month level, you get a 1 hour one-on-one call every month. Because I was like, fine. All my reward levels filled up. And then I was like, okay, here's a fine. I don't remember where that kicks in. Okay. But mostly, I just want people to be patrons because they want to be patrons. I don't want to have to cajole you. I don't want to have to beg you to be a patron. I just want to mention that it exists so you know it exists. And then someday you go, I'm going to be a patron. This guy's amazing. And if you don't feel that way, I don't even want you. I don't mean it that in a disrespectful way. Obviously, I want you to support. But I want you to be happy and thrilled. I don't want you to be like, should I be a patron? I don't know. Is it worth it? Convince me, Bardwell. Sell me. Nope. Can't be bothered. I just want enough people who are really, really thrilled to be there. And then, we'll just keep doing our thing. And so if there's a store out there who kind of feels that way about the affiliate program, they're like, I don't know. Do I want affiliates? I don't know. Nah, that's fine. We just won't do it. I'm not going to try and sell you on it. Night Owl, you want to sign up for the $1,000 level? I'll make it happen. Anybody out there who wants to sign up for $1,000 a month, we will come up with a special Patreon tier. I will do it. I don't know what that's going to be. But I swear to God, if somebody wants to sign up for $1,000 a month, I'll make it happen. Right? Yes. Not a problem. We'll figure it out. All right. Okay, continuing on. I don't know about wherever you want, but yeah, if somebody was, yeah, you could come fly at my house if you were on the $1,000 tier. I'd cater a meal. I'd feel really weird about charging $1,000 for some kind of like boutique experience. But if somebody out there was like, that's what I want out of life, I'd make it happen. Tony Briz says, I only joined Discord for the daily dog pictures. Daily dog pictures, that's right. That's a good point. My Patreon has a daily dog pictures channel where people can post pictures of their dogs. Oh, that is a sweetie. Oh, yeah. Look at these sweet babies. Oh, my goodness. Oh, we even got pictures of Henry at Plenty's dog. I've never seen Henry this close up. You always see him in the background of Blunty's live streams. Oh, yeah. We also, by the way, have a daily cat pictures. I actually haven't looked at the cat pictures recently. Yeah. Well worth the price of admission. Yeah. Oh, this cat's core is 79. No, cats in boxes. Come on. Okay. Yeah, for $1,000 a month, I'll do a Raid Shadow Legends promo for you every month. Oh. I mean, I do have a consulting rate. I have a day rate. And ultimately, I don't really care. Well, I do care. But, like, I have a day rate. And if you meet I have 2 day rates. One of my day rates, I have 3 day rates, actually. That's not true. I have 3 day rates. One of my day rates is for, I really want to do this, but I'm not doing it for free. And, or you're my friend and I'm doing you a favor. But again, I got to pay the bills. That's my low day rate. My normal day rate is for, this is in my wheelhouse. I don't mind doing it, but I'm going to, have to go do work for you instead of work for myself. And then there's my F you go away day rate, which is, I don't really want to do this, but I will do this if you pay me an amount of money that I just simply could not live with myself for turning down. So I have 3 day rates. Bowman 297 wants to know, let's get back to the questions. What do you think of the multi-GP track submissions? Interesting that you ask that question. Interesting you ask that question, because look at this. Look what's in my videos I've recorded but that haven't been edited yet. Oh, and look. Look who I partnered with, who I collabed with. Who dat beautiful man? Me and John Eska talked about the tracks. They're interesting tracks. I feel like there are some of those tracks that are, in my opinion, stand out. I will make you a homemade pizza at the $1,000 tier. Is that what it's going to take? The $1,000 tier. You can come spend a day at my house and fly my house all you want. I will make you a pizza. I'll probably cater, just in case you don't like the pizza. Your choice of toppings. What else should it include for $1,000? $1,000. I'm not gonna spend 8 hours standing by your side all day. Well, 8 hours, $1,000. That's roundabout my day rate. So if I'm also going above and beyond, like catering and making you a pizza, that's actually I would like yeah. I don't think I would spend all day like literally by your side. Unless that's all I was doing and not any extra stuff. I have to think about it. Oh yeah, if you partake, that would be fine. Let's see these courses. Where's these courses? Where are these courses? There we go. Vote now. When does the vote, by the way? 16th of March, 2023. When does the voting stop? Geez, that's not long. That's like 10 days from now. I gotta get this video out. Jeez. I tell you what. Of these tracks, which were the ones that really stood out as particularly good to me? I got to the end, and AK's been the designer for the last 2 years. And so John was like, yeah, I wanted to be like, okay, AK, not a third year in a row. But I'll tell you what, AK's a really good track designer. I know last year's track was a little bit controversial. Not everybody liked it. I actually really liked his track and was like, oh, well, I can see he knows what he's doing. Here's AK's track. I'm not sure. It just seems to have like a good mix of left and right turns. I love this triple gate. I love the way that he designed the triple gate. So you go all the way across it and then back through the middle. Very clever. A good mix of sort of high speed and low speed technical elements. Really nice vertical changes. Just felt like a really good track. Which other one stood out to me? I think I remember liking this one. This is Rafflecopter. Let's see. I think I like this one. Long straight section in the beginning. I like that. I like when the designer I like when the designer has you go between two gates at altitude. It adds a little bit of a it makes it feel like you're flying instead of just driving a car. Using that gate as a hurdle, I liked a lot. Like that. I like this one. Now, the one complaint that we had about this track was we kind of didn't see the point. I think John agreed with me on this. We kind of didn't see the point of this extra gate here with the right angle. I mean, if you just have the other gate. Where's the right angle gate? Where's the right angle gate? I'm not sure. Where even is it? I can't even tell. Was it here? It was here. So like you come through this gate. Can I make this bigger? Like you come through the gate here, and your next gate is here. What's the point of this gate? You're already going to go that direction. So, I mean, I guess it keeps you from blowing this out. But, like, why would you, you're going to be trying not to blow it out anyway. So this gate kind of felt like, oh, I don't know where to put a gate. I guess I'll put it here. And I think that the track probably could have been improved, maybe, by adding another element somewhere else with this gate instead of just sticking it here. That was my only complaint with this one, but I kind of like this one. It's Rafflecopter. Let's see. Anyway, we looked at all 10 of them. Hypers was a little weird. I'm not sure I understand hypers. So, right here, that feels like an opportunity for cross traffic right there. That was a complaint that I think we noted right there. So here's an opportunity for cross traffic. We're going to come through here, and then boom, again, we're theoretically you're climbing, so you're not going to have an impact there, but that's like seems like a real issue. Right there, you're going to have impact, I think. I like that. I like that section there. Seems fun. Descending element. Just big complaint there with this. I don't know why he's looping there. That doesn't even look like the way the path goes. I'm not even sure, but it seems like an issue. Not sure I love the cross traffic there. Anyway, I'm not going to go through all 10 of them. Me and John did, and that'll come out on the channel soon. But I would love to get you guys' input, not here on the live stream, because says that one IFPV says the point is to make you crash. Yeah, I don't know about that. Hyper likes chaos. I just think that, if you're smashing people's quads, the thing is, as John pointed out, people are gonna put more laps in on the GQ track than any other track by far. Thousands of people, maybe tens of thousands, are going to be practicing on this track, just grinding lap after lap to practice. And so you're not just talking about somebody shows up at nationals and they have to race this track. And if you show up at nationals and you smash a quad, hey, it was nationals. Suck it up. But people are going to be practicing for months on this track, grinding out laps. And if there's an opportunity for cross traffic and destruction, they're going to be destroying their motors and frames and so forth during practice. And there's a lot of people who can't afford to do that. So I think that I would vote for a track that minimized the opportunities for cross traffic and impacts. But I would love to get you guys' input, because I did this video with John and I was like, well, we have our opinions, but there's a whole bunch of other racers out there with opinions on these tracks, and I probably should find a way to take them into account. So by all means, if you have thoughts about these tracks, email me, jb@joshuabardwell.com, and let me know your insights, and maybe they'll make it into the video. Anyway, good question. We got a couple more super chats coming in. What's up, FPV solved his problem. Burnt motor. Okay, so it wasn't really related. Probably it wasn't really related to your flight controller. Just that was a coincidence. Sucks, but at least you found the answer. Red Wabbit. I've lost your question, but I have it right here. Red Wabbit, thank you for a $10 super chat. I dropped my DJI goggles V2 last night. Suck. No longer get any video, just black screen with backlight. Should I switch to another HD system upgrade or try to fix? Look, Red Wabbit, I think it's worth calling DJI support And DJI support will either say, congratulations, your goggles are under warranty. Send them in and we will fix them for you. Or they'll say, your goggles are not under warranty, but send them in and we will fix them for you. The actual price of the repair will probably be less than what you would get by selling the goggles. Like a lot of repairs for those goggles are less than $200. I've known people who had to get the whole optics module replaced because they burned the screen. And I don't remember how much the repair was, but it was less than $200. I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. DJI will repair them. It's the easiest process. They send DHL to your house. I don't remember. It was super easy to mail them off. They came back like 4 days later. They were fixed. You should absolutely contact DJI and get them fixed. Whether you intend to keep them or not, you could absolutely sell them for $350 or maybe $400. At least $300 you could sell them for. So by all means, get them fixed. It's probably worth whatever it'll cost you to get DJI to fix them. Should you switch to another system, upgrade, or try to fix? You should fix and then separately ask yourself the question of whether you need to get them fixed. Oh, here's us. Thank you so much for posting this. Steve Tricks, thank you for posting this. Here is a list of the price of some repair parts. So I mean, they'll determine what broke and they'll replace it. And if you don't like it, don't pay them. They'll just send it back to you broken or whatever. Fine. But you don't know. See, even the most expensive things are less than $150. Okay, except for the goggles module, whatever that is, which is $286. Jeez. All right. So get them fixed. Thank you, Steve Tricks. Sunset Park. Sunset Park FPV. Wow, Sunset Park, you've asked a lot of questions. You've been commenting, and now I've lost your super chat as well. Not sure how that's possible. Are we keeping up? Are we caught up? No. Sunset Park says, do you have any ideas why I have killed 20 ESCs in the last 3 months? How did they die? How did they die? What were you doing when they died? I'll show you I got a similar question to this recently. Oh. So I don't want to... Let's see if I can show this without actually showing the guy's email. I don't want to show his email. I had a guy who said I've blown... I think this was on the live stream. He may maybe outed himself. But he said I've blown a bunch of ESCs. I don't know why. I've blown like 3 ESCs in the last month. And I reached out and I said, show me a picture. And sure enough, the picture was... Hey. The picture, the ESC was covered with solder balls. I've circled some of them in the picture that I sent to him. And I was like, I don't know for sure that this is why your ESCs died. Lots of people have solder balls on their ESC and the ESC is fine. But this is absolutely a potential cause of your dead ESCs. If when you're soldering, these little solder balls go all over the place, all it takes is for one of those solder balls to get into a FET, boom, and it blows. So if you can't figure out how to solder without making solder balls, then put some tape or something over your ESC, but when you solder it, so that the solder balls don't get into your FETs. So Sunset Park, if you've blown 20 ESCs in the last, 3 months, either the ESC you're buying is shit, and the Foxeer 60 amp, the Foxeer Reaper 60 amp is not a shit ESC. So that's not it. Or maybe you have a problem with your soldering technique. Alan Victorino, my 4.3, my Betaflight 4.3 tutorial is still plenty good for 4.4. There are a few things that have changed in 4.4, but most of it is the same, and it's still worth watching. All right. A little alcohol in a toothbrush will clean it off, unless the ESC has like a heat sink on it that doesn't let you get underneath it. Good quality solder is one way to avoid leaving solder balls. I like to buy Kester solder. I think that, here's the thing. I bought a 2-pound roll of solder. I don't even know. It must have been 5 years ago. Can I even, can I even find it? Hold on. I'm going to try to find it. I'm going to go to my Amazon account and look at my orders. I can. January 7th, 2018. I ordered January 2018. How big is this? Is it a 2-pound roll? Is it a 1 pound? How big is the roll? 1 pound. I ordered a 1 pound roll of Kester solder. It's starting to get down. I've almost used it all up. It's 2023. 19, 20, 21, 22. It's been 5 years. And I'm still using the same 1 pound roll of solder. So, just spend $40 on a good roll of solder, and you're set for 5 years or more. It's not just the solder, but that's certainly a thing that can cause solder to spatter more. Night Owl, I am not at liberty to comment on the arm lock mechanism on the new QAVS. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to leave that for the future. That's a teaser. That's a teaser. Alan Victorino, thank you for a $5 super chat. Don't use plumber's solder. I hope you're joking. Please don't use plumber's solder. Oh, we're having a big discussion about the solder temperature. And what the best temperature is to use. Ooh, I'm not gonna get into that. I run it. I run at 850 all the time. 850 Fahrenheit. That is about 450 C. I run 850 almost all the time. Except for 850 Fahrenheit, 450 C. Except for the very smallest of pads. I'll turn down. I'll turn down for what? The very smallest of pads. When I tin my pads, the solder goes all the way to the edge of the pads. You could say it goes from the window to the wall. If you could imagine the pad as a room, And like on the one side of the room, there's like a window to the outside, and then there's like a back wall. And you put the soldering iron down on the pad, you heat the pad, and then you want to tin the whole pad all the way from the window to the wall. But I don't turn down for much. I leave it at 850. And some people say that that's too hot. They say it gets too hot in here. Your soldering iron's too hot. It's too hot in here. It makes me want to just take my clothes off. Don't do that, because it's not good to solder with your clothes off. You get solder balls will spatter on you and burn you. So wear safety equipment. And they say that if your iron is too hot, it's going to overheat the board and damage the board. But here's the thing. The heat that goes into the board is a function of the heat of the iron and the time that the iron spends in contact with the board. If you turn the iron down and it takes you longer to complete the joint, then you could put more heat into the board than if you turn the heat up and you complete the joint faster. All I know is I get good results at a higher temperature, and I can't remember the last time I lifted a pad or floated a component. Literally can't remember. I mean, I remember one time when it happened when my soldering iron died. It was like 2017. And I threw out that soldering iron and bought the Heiko soldering iron I have now, and I haven't had a problem since. So I don't think there's a single answer. If you have skill, you can solder at a high temperature and not damage things. At the end of the day, your results are what matters. Well, you definitely can be too low. Okay? Like, there absolutely is a categorically too low soldering temperature. I'm not going to try and argue with you about what it is, but I feel like people who say, no, you can't solder at 450. That's bad. It's like, well, shut up. I soldered at 450 for, 4 years, and I haven't lifted a pad, and I haven't killed anything, and it's fine. So the thing is, when you solder a big, thick pad like an ESC, either you have to change out the tip for a heavier tip, or you can just crank the temperature. And you know which one I'm going to do. I'm not changing the tip. So. I wish I knew more rap lyrics to reference that I could have worked into that bit. But like I just referenced basically the 3 rap songs I know. And I ran out of references and I had to just end the bit. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't use the tapping method to regulate the temp. Tapping is no. Don't do it. Just touch, solder, take it away. Don't do this. I see, I was teaching somebody to solder once, and they were kind of going, and they were kind of painting and floating. And it turned out this guy was a TIG welder. He knew how to weld, and he was treating the soldering iron like it was a TIG torch. And I was like, okay, you have an excuse for this bad habit that I am now going to break you of. But when you solder, don't touch or tap or paint or swipe. Touch. Let it get hot. Feed the solder. Complete the joint. Take it away. That's it. That's my opinion. Eric Toft. Good to see you, man. I'm used to asking you questions. Eric Toft is having trouble flashing WTFOS to his Vista. Eric, I have had problems with the Vista sometimes where the USB port takes a minute to appear, or sometimes the Vista has to like it connects and disconnects, and then I get that message, could not connect to ADB server, and then after like 2 minutes it just shows up. I think if the computer doesn't consistently recognize the Vista as a removable drive, that points to a problem with the Vista. But it might point to a problem with your By the way, I apologize. That was super rude. Somebody's gonna leave an angry comment. How dare you do that? That's so rude. Hit the mute button. Why? I don't know. Blah, blah, blah. At least I'm not crunching ice, right? Must resist urge to crunch ice out of spite. I mean, I would try to rule out a problem with the USB port cable or whatever. And then if it kept being a problem, I would use butter to roll it back and just see if that fixes it. It works with DJI Assistant just fine. I don't know, man. Butter it. Butter it. That's what I would say. No, WTFOS butter. I mean, that's just my fallback option. Like, if the firmware has gotten screwed up, try buttering it. Right? There's no downside to buttering it. I mean, you lose all your binds, and it's a little bit, but you're already screwing around. You probably wasted more time trying to get it to flash than you would just buttering it. And then if it doesn't work after buttering it, to me, that points to a hardware issue. Although that's kind of a long shot. It feels like a cop-out answer, but there you go. Wilf asks, could my ESCs die because of the way I fly? I don't know. Let's find out, Wilf. Let's look at the way you fly. If this is a trick to try to get me to put one of your flight videos on my live stream, it has worked. I can't find your damn link to your video. Where's the damn link to your video? Could it be the way I fly? He asks. Where's that message? Damn it. There it is. Wilf, post your flight video to the Discord. I'm not going to try and type that code. Post your flight video, Wilf. We'll take a look at it. I doubt it. The way you fly probably isn't killing your ESCs. Okay, here we go. Wilf, the question is the way I fly killing my ESCs? Unless Wilf is like crashing into trees and not disarming, the answer is probably no, but let's find out. Wilf, does this have sound? Hang on. No, it's got music, so we're not going to play the music. Okay, first of all, Wilf, you got a 4.3 camera that's being stretched to 16.9. That's why your ESCs are dying. No, that's why my soul is dying, though. No, nothing about this should kill your ESCs. Min Chan Kim flies harder than this, and his ESCs don't die. I mean, I'm sure they die sometimes, but no. I mean, there's nothing about this that should kill your ESCs. You're not smacking into things and creating massive current surges. You're not spending extended times at full throttle. No. Nope. You're just flying, buddy. You're just flying. If you, it's actually a secret. If you fly 4.3 camera and stretch it to 16.9, the gates look bigger. They look wider. So it's actually easier to hit the gates. Oh my God. That's going to be a great, okay, don't ruin this. April Fool's is in 1 month, and that's going to be my April Fool's prank. I'm going to release a video. I may not actually do this. I don't know. I'm going to release a video that's, I got to get Vanover in on this, or Evan Turner. You guys, you keep this to yourself. All 600 of you. I'm going to release a video where we play it totally serious, and we claim that flying a 4.3 camera stretched to 16.9 makes the gates look wider and makes you faster. And that's going to be my April Fool's prank this year. Okay, keep it to yourself. That's funny as shit. That's funny as shit. That's funny as shit. Oh my God, what if it's true? What if that's true? What if that actually worked? Who should I bring in on this with me? Should it be Vanover? I think Evan Turner, I think Evan would do it. I'm not sure Evan is funny. No offense to Evan. He would play a good straight man. I think Vanover's like funnier. I'll think about it. Bubby's not a racer. I mean, he's working on being a racer. I don't think he's recognized as a racer. He is going to be recognized as a racer because he's getting better. I think he would do it. I'll think about it. That's funny as shit, though. Nothing's wrong with Evan. I'm just not 100% sure. I'm not sure he's funny in the way that Vanover could be funny. Like, do you remember that Angry Birds? That Angry Birds video Rotor Riot did? Oh, I'll never find it. Yeah. Is this a real game you can play on itch.io? You can play. No, they put it up. I didn't know they did this. They put it up on itch.io. I didn't know they did this. It's just Flappy Bird with a drone. Okay, but that's not my point. Where's the video they made? Oh, here we go. Check this out. Have you seen this?
This is the tool that every FPV pilot needs if they want to be on another level.
It is absolutely one-to-one with real-life drones. If you're out there and you're wanting to improve your freestyle, if you're out there and you're wanting to improve your racing, if you are someone who is struggling with FPV and you just can't figure out what to do, you have the ability to get better in your pocket.
For this to be a truly useful tool, we had to ensure that the experience recreated the true art of flying. So we were meticulous about developing the physics to ensure that the drone behaved
the
as
physics.
a drone would in the real
The
world.
physics.
When my fingers touched the glass and I got my hands on the controls in the Rotor Riot simulator, it was like putting the goggles on for the first time. The experience, the rush of adrenaline and emotions.
Do you see how Vanover is selling it? You see how he's selling it? He's like leaning into it in a way that is going to be revealed to be funny.
You get when you fly the Rotor Riot drone simulator is just unparalleled to anything else.
But completely straight.
You get to explore all these crazy different terrains. You get to learn about PID tuning. You get to do all of the things that an FPV pilot would want to do.
From the time that we decided to begin this project until its release, we had to keep a lot of this in the shadows for days. We didn't want people to know what we were working on until we believed that we had created something that wasn't just perfect, that it was human.
When Drew approached me and asked me to make a simulator for the Rotor Riot community, I was troubled. say the least. It's not an easy undertaking, not at all. In order to make the most realistic drone simulator there is, there's a ton of factors you need to consider. Wind resistance, gravity, inertia, but all of that was too hard. So I just made Flappy Drone.
Oh, what's this after? What's the after? It turns out it's not available in the App Store because Apple doesn't let you have clone apps. And they tried to get it approved for the App Store, and Apple was like, this is just Flappy Bird. No. So unfortunately, you can't get this.
Countless hour went into development. Every decision took multiple minutes.
You know, if there's one thing that I can say I left behind on this earth,
It was like the first time putting on FPV goggles. Come on, we can do this. We can do this. We can do this.
It's one of the best things Rotorites ever made. It's one of the best things Rotorites ever made. Wilf wants to know, it says motors, Brother Hobby Avenger V3s. What size in KV, Wilf? What size in KV? That is Chad Capper's son, Christian Capper. Anyway, all right, I'll think about it. $2306.5, 2000 kV. 2000 kV on 6S could stress an ESC. There's no doubt about that. But you're probably not actually going past 60% throttle. Like, I don't know. Did you have your throttle position in the OSD? Let me look. Oh, I closed the window. Are you actually going to full throttle? Definitely high DMAG high, definitely. I still don't think that by itself should kill ESCs. 6S1 FPV, I know a lot of pros run more than 2000 kV on 6S. But you got to watch out because, like, you could give me a quadcopter that was 2100 kV on 6S, and I would just live between 0 and 40% throttle, and I would not stress it. So just because you're running a high kV motor doesn't mean you're stressing the ESC. Depending on... Now, if you're Min Chan Kim, and you're at full throttle between every turn, okay, you're using the whole 2000 kV. He said he's using the 60 amp Foxeer. That's as close to a bulletproof ESC as there is today. But, like, nothing's 100% bulletproof, but that's a good ESC. All right. We got a couple more super chats that have come in. Let me make sure I get them. We got about 10 more minutes left in the live stream. Aaron Ciotti is going to be streaming after me at 10 p.m. By all means, stick around after my stream ends and go check out his stream. What are you doing tonight, Ciotti? While we wait for Ciotti's answer... I mean, I'm guessing he's running a 5-inch prop because it looked like he was doing multi-GP racing. Ciotti's going to be doing 4 giveaways and 1.2-inch 10 versus 20 pitch biblade comparison. Ooh, and people love a giveaway, Ciotti. Did you get some sleep finally? Did you get some sleep? I hope you got some sleep, man. You need to go to Fight Club. You're going to sleep like a baby. after Tyler Durden beats the shit out of you. That's what I hear. Arrow, thank you for a $5 super chat. Praises to the wise Bard Owl. Oh, please don't do that to me. Goku GN745 AIO is not sending any RX bat or amp related telemetry to my Zoro. The first thing I would do, Arrow, is check to see whether you're getting any telemetry from the flight controller. If you have not set up your receiver correctly, if you've not wired it up correctly, if you've not configured the flight controller correctly, you may not be getting any telemetry. So there's a list of sensors that come from the receiver. Things like RSSI, LQ, those are the big ones. And there's a list of telemetry that comes from the flight controller. Things like RxBat, amps, ACC is for the accelerometer, ACCX, ACCY, ACCZ, and so on. So just Arrow says, yes, I'm getting RSSI telemetry. No, that's what I'm saying, Arrow. I know you're a little bit behind on the chat, so you didn't hear me say that yet. RSSI comes from the receiver. You can bind a receiver on the bench with no flight controller and a 5-volt power supply, and you'll get RSSI telemetry. So my guess is that, like, did you go in Betaflight, go to the receiver tab? Is the telemetry option enabled? That would cause this, if it's not enabled. But go, I'm guessing you're not getting any telemetry. And either the two things that could cause this are, number one, like what receiver protocol? What receiver protocol, Arrow? Crossfire, ExpressLRS, what is it? Tronics John, if you have a bunch of ExpressLRS receivers, some of them are 3.0 and some of them are 2.0, and you can't easily update them, I also would be very tempted to just buy a second ExpressLRS module and have one module on 3X and one on 2X. That's so dumb, but... Okay, Arrow, you've enabled telemetry, and you've got the TX and the RX wire, right? The next thing I would do is I would delete all sensors from the telemetry screen, and then with the flight controller powered up, discover new sensors and see if they come in. But basically, you're not getting telemetry from the flight controller. That's what's happening. If you want to dig into that deeper, you're welcome to email me and we can try to dig into it deeper. Yeah, he says he deleted sensors. When you did discover new sensors, did the sensors come back in? Scott Marshall says your RX and TX could be reversed. I'm guessing that it's flying, but he's just not getting telemetry. If his RX and TX were reversed, the receiver wouldn't work at all. When you discover new sensors, the sensors appeared, but were not getting any data? Am I hearing you correctly, Arrow? You deleted sensors, discovered new sensors, the sensors came in. Oh, he's saying yes, it was flying. Huh. That's an odd one, no doubt. Jack Stunts FPV, thank you for a $5 super chat. Does flying different quads make you a better pilot or hold you back? They say, the saying, fear the man with only one gun. The idea being that if you only fly one type of quad all the time, you'll get very good at it. There's absolute truth to that. If you only fly one quad ever, you'll get very good at flying that one type of quad. But you will not be a very versatile pilot. So, there's a value to flying different types of quads. I don't think, like, for example, if you talk about a 5-inch and a tiny whoop and you're trying to freestyle or race them, they fly very differently. And I'm not saying that none of that translates over. Obviously, some of it does. But being great at flying a 5-inch, you're not going to immediately be awesome at flying a tiny whoop the first time you fly a tiny whoop because they're so different. The main advantage of flying different types of things is that you learn about how weight and motor size and prop size affects how a quad flies. And you become more able to fly different types of quads and still fly them well. But like when when a top racer is getting ready to go to nationals or a championships race, a lot of times, I mean, I'm not going to try to speak for everybody, they will avoid flying other types of quads and they will focus only on the one type of quad they're going to be flying for that race to avoid sort of mixing up their muscle memory. Technobabbler asks, I got a new Zorro radio here. It has a unified ESP32 2400TX. I'm getting Radio Master Zorro 2400TX. I assume there's no issue flashing it. Yes, Technobabbler, the Zorro will ship with a generic target on it. You will flash it with the Zorro 2400 target. That is correct. And you'll get a warning that the targets don't match, but that's okay. You can ignore it. Just flash the right one. A lot of times, Express Solaris hardware ships from the factory with a generic target, and you have to replace it with the correct one when you first flash it. We got one more super chat before I sign off from MOIFPV. Thank you for 65 Mexican pesos. How do I choose between a 40 amp stack and a 60 amp stack? How do stacks work on ESCs? So I've got a video. I got a video about that I'm going to refer you to. And the video is how to choose your ESC amp rating. Are modern ESCs too large? Oh, look at that short beard. I don't know. I think I like the shorter beard better. Let me give you a link to this video. Larger's not necessarily better. So, I'm not... MOIFPV, let me refer you to that video. I'm going to paste it one more time so you get it. I got to get off because Ciati's going to start streaming and I don't want to run over him. Wow. Do I have even more gray in my beard? It feels like I might. Just a little. I can't decide if I like the shorter beard better. I don't know. I'm torn. I'll think about it tonight while I sleep. That's going to do it for tonight's stream, though. That is going to do it for tonight's stream. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Thanks to all the super chats. Thanks to all the comments. And, of course, thanks to my patrons over in the Discord server. If you guys want to join my Patreon, there's a link in the video description below. I'd love to have you as a supporter. But I'm going to get out of here and let Ciati do his stream. Happy flying, everybody. Have a great night. Have a great stream, Ciati.